So Ben Johnson was introduced as the newest head coach of the Chicago Bears. The offensive coordinator of the defensive lines is now the new HC of the Chicago Bears. According to all reports, it does appear the Lions are about to lose their defensive coordinator as well. And he is the newest head coach of the New York Jets, a former first-round pick back in 1994. Is coming back to New Jersey to be the head coach of the New York Jets. And it is, as somebody who has been around the block with this franchise, this team, in that area, an inspiring hire, and one that should lend to some excitement because at least he knows what he's getting into. To be straight up. To be as straight up as it possibly can get. He knows what it's been like to be around there. He knows about the highs of the Parcells era and the lows of when he was first there. And he totally understands when he walks into that building, all of the DNA and the scars and all of the fan base hopes and desires. And he has full knowledge of all of that. And a lion-hearted individual and somebody who walks in and no doubt will command that room and that facility and that locker room and hopefully will command what shall I say here? He will hopefully command the respect of the ownership structure to let him do it and get out of the way. I can't be any more blunt about it. That if Woody Johnson, who was not the owner of the team when Aaron Glenn was hired, if he sees in Aaron Glenn a future star head coach, giving him the opportunity to be a head coach for the first time, for an organization and a fan base that he is very familiar with, and they with him, to say, you are the guy, then let's let him be the guy. And let him run the locker room. Let him do everything that he wants to do. Let him install the culture. And let him give out the game balls to whoever he wants to give out the game balls to. And let him have the reign. And thankfully, he is Woody's hire because, again, apparently the Robert Saleh issue was he was not Woody Johnson's hire. And that he was hired when Woody was out on walkabout as the ambassador to the United Kingdom, where the Jets are returning, by the way, this coming fall. And if Woody sees in Aaron Glenn what a lot of people have seen in Aaron Glenn and what Aaron Glenn clearly laid out for this team, they didn't even do second-round interviews after interviewing, wait for it, 17 individuals. Nope. Apparently is the final total. They didn't need to. He must have stood out enough that they were waiting for the Lions to be done. And when the Lions were done, they bring him in, and the intention was to not let him out of the building, and kudos to them for not letting him out of the building, except to search for real estate in northern New Jersey and restore some faith in the head coaching position for the ownership suite and restore the Jets back into a conversation that this very talented roster should be able to affect. Who's the quarterback? I have no idea.
Great question. Yeah.
I have no idea. I have no idea what Aaron Glenn's opinion of Aaron Rodgers is going to be. If it's going to be the two Aarons, I have no idea.
And Michael Kay was saying that he was interested in bringing Aaron Rodgers back.
Well, and again, it's not crazy of an idea if you are going to identify who's next.
Right.
You cannot view Rodgers as the absolute cure-all anymore. That is not the way of going about it now. It can't be like, okay, the roster's ready to win now. Let's get Aaron Rodgers, just add him to the mix, and he's going to be the MVP quarterback, and voila, we're going to see a green painted end zone in the Super Bowl. Next year for Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara, California, the Cal Bears going to be back there in green because he's just going to show up.
Good story, though.
You can't sit here and say that. You've got to now. This isn't about that anymore. I'm sorry. This is about installing a culture and a structure to win for a long time. This isn't just like we've got the team. We just need the quarterback. That's all we've needed. That didn't work the last few years, did it? Did it work the last couple of years? Did I miss anything?
It has not worked.
So if you think Rodgers can win enough games, heaven forbid, you add Aaron Glenn and maybe it does wind up in Super Bowl 60, fine. Great. Clearly, you'll take it. But you got to find yourself your Jaden Daniels. You got to find yourself your Drake May. You got to find yourself that person. Is he in this draft? I don't know. One never knows. Everybody thought that Jaden Daniels was hopefully going to be the next C.J. Stroud, and we were saying that he was for about a month until he zoomed past him in the diamond lane. So, but this has got to be about Aaron Glenn and finding the general manager that Aaron Glenn is comfortable with and saying, this is your show, Aaron. Whatever you picked up in Detroit, whatever you showed with your abilities here when you were a player here, whatever institutional knowledge you have of the Jets organization and the city and the area, whatever you bring to the equation, whatever your mantra is, your culture is, it's your show. And we will follow your lead, and we will do this for a long time, like the Rams are doing with their guy here, like the Patriots did with their guy there, or they hope to do with their new guy there, and what the Commanders are building right now. I could go on and on and on. That's what the Jets should be focused on. And if Aaron Rodgers is that guy to come up and come in and come back and be the bridge and understand that that's what his role is going to be, as well as him can utilize the situation to get himself one ring before he leaves again, if he wants to do that, I don't think it's a crazy idea. What else are they going to do? Go and you want to go back to the future and bring in Sam Darnold and pay him a lot of money? Oof. I don't know. So that's the first order of business for Aaron Glenn. But coming up with an idea for Aaron Glenn and how to make him succeed with the right general manager and just let him do his thing and get out of the way. Get out of the way. Just show up for games, go to the owner's suite, enjoy your life. I can't believe I'm giving Woody Johnson advice through the microphone, but I am. And good luck. Because there's a team that's playing in Kansas City this Sunday that has the continuity, has the quarterback, has the front office, has the ownership suite, all on the same lockstep level, which is what you want out of Aaron Glenn. Let's not just start spinning and say, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. Let's build. Because you're back in rebuilding mode, and the sooner you realize that, and if Aaron Rodgers wants a piece of that, I'll tell you what, though, one last thing while I'm on this. Whoever the general manager is, your first order of business is wrapping up Garrett Wilson and making sure Sauce and whatever caused him to respond to somebody. Who was the one who's saying, let's get, you should talk to, who is it? You should talk to somebody to show up here. And he's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
I'm not going to do that, yeah. I forget who they were talking about.
Aaron Glenn, perfect guy to go to Sauce Gardner. Sauce, we got this thing.
Knows a little bit about the position, so.
Correct.
You know. So let me ask you.
Correct.
Because you do have some talent on that team. When you said like a rebuild, this isn't a total rebuild, right? I mean, you got to get that QB situation settled, but you've got some talent on this squad, man.
Yeah. And maybe they can add T. Higgins because that's who somebody was saying, tell T. Higgins to come show up here. And he's just like, I'm not going to do that.
I ain't going to do that.
So go to Sauce, get him back, his mind right. And Garrett Wilson needs to stay. That's the guy you can build around because that's the guy who does not like losing. Mm-hmm. And then figure out the rest from there, but let him do it. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.